Hi guys, CombinedYoutuber here. Welcome to the F1 2013 career mode today, and we'll be doing the Canadian Grand Prix. We start from pole position in this Canadian Grand Prix for the second consecutive time in Canada. We took it last season as well in the Force India. We had an epic race last season, but can we have a repeat of that epic race in this race here in Canada? We start from pole. Fernando Alonso, our teammate, starts from second. Sebastian Vettel starts from third place. Lewis Hamilton in P4. And so, our goal is to finish first, so hopefully we can finish first, because we haven't had a win this season since Bahrain. So we need to win a race soon. And hopefully, it'll be now. So our race strategy, pitting on lap 6 there for prime tyres, obviously. And here we go, out on track for the Canadian Grand Prix.
Good chance you can finish in a point-scoring position today. Good luck.
So here we are on the grid in Canada, 5 lights. And so away we go for the Canadian Grand Prix. And we've got a pretty bad start there compared to our teammate who speeds past us into turn 1. But can we go back up the inside of Fernando Alonso into turn 1? He's left us a lot of room there into turn 1. Can we go around the outside into turn 2 on Fernando Alonso? We're going to go side by side with Alonso now down into turn 3. Can we get Alonso now? Now into turn 3, no! Alonso now takes the lead of the Canadian Grand Prix. Now coming down into turn 7, up the inside of Fernando Alonso. Can we get him? We touched Fernando Alonso just slightly, but we've squeezed him out, and we retake the lead of the Canadian Grand Prix at turn 7. Here's the replay. That's an awesome replay. As you can see, we completely squeezed him out of road, but that's how you do it. But unfortunately not with teammates. But moving on to lap 2 straight away. And here we go. We've gone a little bit wide there on Fernando Alonso. Ooh, there's a bit of contact there with Fernando Alonso as he was trying to come on the inside there into turn 7. Turn 8 actually. And he didn't quite get it on lap 2. But now, here we are on lap 3. At the same corner, turn 7. Here we go. Alonso's coming to the outside. There's been a lot of action at turn 7 so far. But there we go. We're going way wide there. And Fernando Alonso now takes the lead. And Sebastian Vettel is now side by side, and he takes second place. Nico Rosberg's now coming on the outside as well. Now down into turn 9. Here we go, up the inside of Vettel, but we've gone way wide there. And I think Rosberg has been pushed off. I didn't even mean to, here we go. Coming on the replay here now, and we didn't quite get, yep, I knew it. We pushed Rosberg off there, but that was completely not... I didn't even intend to hit Rosberg off there. I wasn't even intending to. Wasn't even planning to. He was just there in the line I took because I overshot it when Vettel was on the inside. But here we go into the final chicane at the end of lap 3. We got much better traction now, and we're streaming Sebastian Vettel on the start of lap 4, and we go to the inside of Sebastian Vettel into turn 1, and we get second place on the inside into turn 1. We pass Sebastian Vettel. And now we're chasing down Fernando. Now coming down into turn 3, the first chicane on lap 4 of the Canadian Grand Prix. Now onto lap 5 at turn 7, where now we are 6/10 purple, and we're 1.9 seconds behind Fernando Alonso. We're gaining on Fernando Alonso right now in this part of the race. But now on the same lap down into the second sector, where we've lost a bit of time. We're 2.7 seconds now behind him. And I think is that 0.5? Or was that 0.6? I don't know. Here we go, coming to the final chicane onto the end of lap 5 here in Canada, where we set the fastest lap of the race. It's a 1:15.1. That's purple, and there's another few seconds gained. It's 1.9 seconds is the gap now to Fernando Alonso. And there we go, confirmation that we've set the fastest lap. It's a 1:15.187. Here we go, lap 6, which is our pit stop lap. Our tyres are pretty much brown, and here we go, coming into the pit lane here in Canada to get our first pit stop, first and only pit stop of this Grand Prix, changing to prime, going on to prime tyres for this race. Pit stop, and it's a 3.2 second pit stop, which is decent from Ferrari, but obviously it's going to be that every time, as you all know, the pit stops are scripted in this game. Here we go, starting lap 7, and Mark Webber now will get out ahead of us. So Mark Webber has not stopped yet, nor has the other two in front of us. Fernando Alonso is going to probably stop next lap. We have to see though. Here we go. Moving on now into lap 7, where Mark Webber comes into the pit now. And Alonso is in the pits as well, for sure. And it was Webber, Hamilton and Grosjean who were the 3 guys ahead of us that didn't pit. But here we go, Alonso is now coming out of the pit lane, and he's stayed out in the lead of the Canadian Grand Prix. On lap 8 of 18, Fernando Alonso stays out in the lead of the Canadian Grand Prix, but now coming on into the hairpin, where we're 4.1 seconds, so we've gained about 7 tenths, because we're 4.6 behind. Now it's 1.5 seconds up at our personal best time in the second sector, but now coming into the far chicane now. We flew through that chicane, and now coming onto the straight now, where we improve our time by only 1/10 of a second. That's 1:15.0, and we've gained quite a lot. We gained about 1 second on Fernando Alonso as we come down into turn 1 and 2. That's 2.8 seconds of the gap. We are catching Fernando Alonso. We are catching our teammate now. Will there be team orders, or will it just be the... Will we be just free to race? But now, moving on to the next lap, lap 10, where we're just off our fastest lap. It's another second gained at least, 1.3 seconds. The gap to Fernando Alonso as we come down into turn 1 and 2 again. Alonso, we are right at the back of Alonso now, on lap 10. Now coming down into the second sector now, where we're coming down towards this corner now, and we're very close to Fernando Alonso coming into the hairpin. We're 3/10 purple. We're on our own lap actually. Here we go, slipstreaming Fernando Alonso down towards the straight. Here we go, using DRS now on Fernando Alonso. We've got huge slipstream there, and we're going to pull out to the inside and speed past Fernando Alonso into the lead of the Canadian Grand Prix, and we've slid off the curb there at the far chicane. That was impressive. Here we go, look how much we sped past Fernando Alonso. That was very fast. Oh, that's an impressive camera angle of the slide we did at the far chicane. We have to see a slow motion replay of that, because that was truly awesome. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, look at this. Sliding on the limit and almost kissing the wall there as we slid. But we were on the limit there as we slid out of the final chicane. But now, 2 laps later on lap 12, here we go, now down towards the hairpin. Fernando Alonso is now coming to the outside of us down into the hairpin. But can Alonso get us? No, not quite. Alonso's getting much better traction though, as we come out of the hairpin, but not quite there as we go onto the grass a little bit there. And now coming onto the straight now, where we're 0.088 seconds behind Fernando Alonso. Can we get Fernando Alonso? Can Fernando Alonso get us down into the final chicane now? He's looking a bit to the outside, but not quite. He's too slow there to get past. There we go, we've got much better traction as Fernando Alonso. We had a really bad corner there at the final chicane. And can Alonso get past us into turn 1? He's coming on the inside, but not quite. He backs out of the move. On lap 13 of 18. Sebastian Vettel's now 2 seconds behind us both. So Vettel is gaining on this battle between us, between the two Ferraris, me and Alonso. But now Alonso's coming on the inside into turn 3. And we try to hold it around the outside. Can we get Alonso now down into this corner? No, Alonso retakes the lead of the Canadian Grand Prix. Lap 13 of 18. We're very close to Fernando Alonso through turn 7 there. And wow, what a pass by Alonso. And here we go, coming now into the second sector. We're slipstreaming Fernando Alonso now, down into the hairpin. We're going up the inside of Alonso into the hairpin. That's an awesome manoeuvre. We turn into the hairpin there, unlike Nico Rosberg in real life. Sorry about that. Alonso has been passed again by us. We've got DRS in P1. But look at Sebastian Vettel right at the back of this battle. He's really gained on us now. He's really gained on the both of us now. Into the final chicane now. We've actually hit the wall of champions a bit there, so that's costly, but we're still in the lead as we start lap 14. We have 5 laps to go in this Canadian Grand Prix, and this is getting tense now. Between the top 3, who's going to win this Canadian Grand Prix? Is it going to be me, Fernando Alonso, or Sebastian Vettel? Now coming onto lap 14 of the Canadian Grand Prix, can Alonso get put through on the outside? But here we go, here comes Alonso is now challenging us, but there's Sebastian Vettel on the inside into the hairpin, and Vettel gets the position into second place. Vettel makes the position, and he was really pushing there to try and change the Ferrari battle around, and Sebastian Vettel has done exactly that, moving up into second place into the hairpin. That is an awesome move from Sebastian Vettel. He has split the 2 Ferraris with that move at the hairpin. I knew he was going to do that. Here we go, coming down into the straight. Can Sebastian Vettel challenge us now, down into the final chicane? He's going for it, but here we go, not quite there for Sebastian Vettel, but now coming into the final chicane. Sebastian Vettel takes second place and now starting lap 15 of the Canadian Grand Prix. Here we go, skipping down into the hairpin, the second sector, where we've weaved our wheel a little bit there. And here we go, coming onto the straight again on lap 15 of the Canadian Grand Prix. We have 4 laps to go. And now we're using the rest of our curves to try and defend for Sebastian Vettel. Is now coming to the outside again into the final chicane. Can he get us? No, he can't. Sebastian Vettel can't get us. And here we go down onto the pit straight. Can Sebastian Vettel get us again into turn 1? I think he's a bit too far back to get us into turn 1. He's actually challenging us on the outside there, which was very cheeky. But down to turn 2, we've overshot the corner, gone into the grass now, and Sebastian Vettel has lost it. Alonso is now challenging Sebastian Vettel now down into turn 3, and Alonso gets the position back into second place. And now, on lap 16, with 3 laps to go, Sebastian Vettel's lost second place to my teammate. Can Alonso get us into the hairpin now? Down into the hairpin we go, and coming into the hairpin on lap 16. Now, can Alonso get us? No, Alonso can't get us! Sebastian Vettel has done the move again! Into second place. Vettel has made the move at the hairpin again. Wow. Unbelievable. He's made the same move twice in 2 laps. On lap 14 and on lap 16. And he's retaken second place. This is a great battle between Vettel and Alonso. It could be Vettel who wins this race. You never know what could happen. Vettel's having some good pace now. He's coming to the outside now, down into the final chicane. We're briefly second place, but we have the inside line of the final chicane. And we retake P1 on lap 16. But here we go, Vettel coming to the outside of us into turn 1. He backs out the move, but Alonso's now coming to the inside now. Into turn 1 and not quite there. We start the penultimate lap. There's 2 laps to go in this Canadian Grand Prix. And the top 3 are still very close together. This is very tense stuff. As we come down into turn 7, we've gone wide there. Sebastian Vettel's not going to take the lead of this Canadian Grand Prix. That's unfortunate there for us. We're losing position to Alonso now. He's side by side with us now. Down into turn 9, and we get Alonso back. But can we get Sebastian Vettel? It's all down now to the last lap of this Canadian Grand Prix. Here we go into the hairpin. We're trying to get Sebastian Vettel now. Can we get him onto the straight? I hope we can. Otherwise we'll get another final lap. But here we go, using DRS now and the slipstream on Sebastian Vettel now, down into the final chicane. Can we go up the inside and overtake him into the final chicane? No, not quite. Vettel defends round the outside. And now it's all down to the final lap of this Canadian Grand Prix to try and get the lead of this race. And here we go, up the inside of Vettel into the first corner. But Vettel somehow holds position. And the dramatic music's now starting because it's so tense right now. It's the final lap and we're battling for the lead with Vettel. Can we get Vettel now down into turn 7? We're going onto the inside of Vettel into turn 7. But it's such a race. We're almost very close to touching them, but Vettel holds it round the outside. Wow, who's going to win this race? Is it going to be me or Sebastian Vettel? Here we go, coming into the hairpin. Can we go for a move? No, we can't go for a move into the hairpin. That was probably our only chance. The last chance now is to get him onto the straight. We've had terrible traction on the straight. That's very costly. We might even lose this win. We might actually lose this win. We are actually leading quite a lot of laps in this race, but can we get Vettel into the far chicane now? Here we go, but traction him, we touched the back of him, but DRS now, and Vettel has out-tractioned me, and that's second place. We finished second place in the Canadian Grand Prix. Wow, what a tense last 3 laps of the race. We just lost out on the victory on the last lap. Vettel out of nowhere wins the Canadian Grand Prix. It looked like me or Alonso would win it, but it's Sebastian Vettel who wins it. His second race of this career mode goes to Sebastian Vettel. Then it's me in second place, Fernando Alonso third, Nico Rosberg fourth, who got pushed off, of course, earlier in the race. Kimi Räikkönen fifth, then Romain Grosjean, good points for Lotus there. Lewis Hamilton way down seventh, I don't know what happened to him there. Nico Hülkenberg in eighth, Mark Webber disappointing ninth, and Sergio Perez, Paul di Resta, Esteban Gutierrez, Dan Ricciardo, Jenson Button, John McVerne, Valtteri Bottas, Adrian Sutil, Pastor Maldonado, Charles Pic, Guido van der Garde, Max Chilton, and Jules Bianchi. So there's no retirements in this Canadian Grand Prix. Surprisingly, it was such a good race.
Still second in the Drivers' Championship.
And there we go. We've trimmed about 3 points there off Fernando Alonso's championship lead, but Alonso still leads this championship from us in second place, 15 points behind. And it's Sebastian Vettel who has won the Canadian Grand Prix and retakes third place, in the Drivers' Championship. Ahead of Lewis Hamilton, who is a further 6 points behind him. Then Jenson Button 5th, then Grosjean, Rosberg, Webber down in 8th there. Raikkonen, Gutierrez 10th, Perez, Hülkenberg, Van der Garde still in 13th from last race. Maldonado, Bottas, Verne, Pic, Di Resta, and Sutil. Then Ricciardo, Pic, Bianchi, Chilton. Ferrari lead the constructors by 112 points. They basically won the constructors now for sure. Red Bull in second. There's Mercedes in third. Lotus in fourth with a good 90 points there. McLaren in fifth. Sauber. Then, oh my god, that was quick. I think it was Williams and Caterham, then Force India. And there, so Toro Rosso, then Force India, then Mauritius. And here we go, celebrating our second place. And Sebastian Vettel there, celebrating an unexpected win in this Canadian Grand Prix. Here we go. We are congratulating Sebastian Vettel. Vettel's congratulating us. And hope you enjoyed this very tense Canadian Grand Prix. And see you guys on my next video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And goodbye.